about to go live. We are going live. Wow, this is awesome. I love this. Sending a tweet now out to the whole wide world. There we are, starting live. It is theonering.net. Here we go, we're live, looking at the main camera, looking at this camera. I've got all these devices over here, and, wait a minute, I've got my other tablet over here. Hi guys, welcome. Welcome. My name's Clifford. Clifford Broadway. I'm the guy hosting the show. This evening, it is Torn Tuesday. Torn being the playful acronym for theonering.net. Thank you, everybody, for joining the world's largest J.R.R. Tolkien fan community, the community of all the Lord of the Rings fans, and the Hobbit fans, and the Silmarillion fans, and dare I say the Beren and Luthien fans, who are getting excited about the new book release coming up. Welcome to theonering.net, and there I see a live chat. Ustream seems to have some kind of issues with the chat, but we're live on Instagram. We're live on the Facebook Live. Yes, Facebook Live. I'm going to open up my tablet right here, my handy-dandy tablet. I'm going to use this device to see what the chatters on Facebook have to say. This will be fun. Hee-hee. What's up, Twitter? I'm going to take a picture of myself here in the Twitterverse. Oh boy, it's been very exciting. Let's do this. Turn the camera around. Rotate the camera. Start Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. Hey, Canada. It's me, Clifford, here in Los Angeles. I'm hosting the show live without Justin. Thank God for simple truths. Thank God there's no Justin here today. No, that is so awful. That's awfully disingenuous. Right? Okay. Awfully disingenuous. Hey guys, we are live, and I'm going to be talking about these comic books from Archaea. We're going to be talking about the power of the Dark Crystal from fans of Jim Henson and the original Dark Crystal movie. And we're going to be talking about all this good stuff. Because, hey, what's up? What's up, Twitter? I'm going to say hey, Twitter, hey, Instagram, hey, Facebook Live. Ustream? You're not even on yet, but oh well. That's too bad. Tough titty, said the kitty when the milk went dry. That's what happens when Ustream doesn't work. You can't help it. You just can't help it. So, let's use that picture and say, hey everybody. Just started hosting the live show now. Justin would kill me if he saw me here right now, dictating my message to... He hates it. He hates it so much. Well, and I love it. I think it's funny because I'm dictating and talking on my phone, and it becomes text to use for, you know, SMS messaging or to send a tweet or whatever, and he gets all prickly in a bunch, like Sebastian the Hedgehog. He gets all prickly in a bunch. Just started doing the live show now for theonering.net chop chop. Theonering.net chop chop. LOTR and Hobbit fans, join the show and ask a Tolkien geek anything. There you go. And it's going to be at, I suppose we're live on theonering.net, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're live. Let me drop that URL in so that this actually goes out to the live wide world of the World Wide Web. It only takes a minute when you have your contact lenses in. Smack, L-I-V-E, yay! There you go. There you go. Got it. Tweet. Bam. All right. Looks like Ustream is still not working. That's too bad. Nighty-night, Focoena. Sorry. I'm trying to talk on all these multiple streams at the same time, telling the Twitterverse about what's going on. And in just a moment, I'll be able to see theonering.net right here on this device. Hello. What am I most looking forward to about the new Beren and Luthien novel? To be honest, what I'm most looking forward to the most in the new Beren and Luthien novel is Christopher's notes. I know that sounds like a real hardcore nerd thing to say. I mean, it's the passion, it is the powerful drama of Beren and Luthien that always pulls us in. But, I gotta take a minute and say, from an academic viewpoint, I want to see what Christopher Tolkien has to say about the differences in his father's mind between the old Beren and Luthien that we've had published since 1977, right? Like when that came out? And Tolkien had already been dead a few years, 4.5 years he was gone. And now we get to see the new Beren and Luthien, the new version, the updated. And then we could talk about the differences between the two, because there are a lot of changes going on in Tolkien's mind. He was a brilliant author, as we all know. I mean, I will safely assert that Professor Tolkien knew exactly what he was doing. But at a certain point, the Silmarillion became such a struggle for him to put the stories together in a way that his publisher would like. And then Professor Tolkien would go back. Hello, Poland. Good to see you, Camille Creative. Very much a pleasure to have our friends from around the world on the show. Welcome to theonering.net. The question that just got asked of me, because we're doing Ask Me Anything. I'm the Tolkien geek, one of the resident Tolkien nerds who puts some time in, just a little bit here and there, volunteering for theonering.net as a writer and a contributor for the past 17 and a half years. Wow, 18 years with theonering.net. Hello, Poland. Greetings to Chile. Really lovely to have you guys. The Beren and Luthien book that's coming out is the top story, obviously, in the world of Tolkien, because we've been getting a lot of news about Alan Lee going around to do book signings. And he's going to show up on the day and date of the release of the new Beren and Luthien. He's going to go all the way up across England, and he's going to drive from Wales, and then he's going to go all the way down to Oxford and drive a few hours and do another book signing event. That's right, Oscar winner Alan Lee, who worked with Peter Jackson on the design team, for the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy. Alan Lee's going to be doing these fantastic Beren and Luthien book signings. So totally looking forward to that. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. And, oh look, we're live. We're live on the Facebook. Live. Very good. Glad to see you guys. Okay, how are you just hearing about this Beren and Luthien book? Oh my God, girlfriend, we've been talking about this for like months. We've talked about it at every convention we've gone to. We were just at WonderCon here in Southern California, in LA. Pete, in the chat room, I can see you there in the Ustream chat. Christopher said that his father's biggest problem with the Silmarillion late in life was making it agree with the published version of The Lord of the Rings. Yes, how about that? Imagine him having to go through all of his stories for the Silmarillion, the stories that his publisher had refused all the time, year after year after year. The professor could not get a break. All the publisher wanted was more hobbits. He didn't want Lord of the Rings specifically. What he wanted was more of The Hobbit as a sequel. Then what happens is this, okay? Tolkien goes to his publisher and says, well, I'm glad everybody liked The Hobbit so much. I'm really glad that The Hobbit is doing so well. Here's some other stories from within the world of the first age of Middle-earth, and let's publish these. And the publisher was like, what? What the heck is all this? I can't handle this. So, he didn't want it, didn't publish it, and it's much too bad. The Silmarillion was never published in Tolkien's lifetime. Hey there, Brittany Larson. Hey, Corbin. Hey, Steve. Nice to see you guys. I can see the live chat right here. The Facebook Live. It's very nice to see you guys. Hello, Brazil. Thank you, all my friends in Brazil. Love you. Love the Brazilians and the Chileans and the Argentinians and all of our friends south of the border. And we get fans around the world watching this show. My last word about the Beren and Luthien book, I'm really, really down to see what Christopher Tolkien has to say about the challenge that the professor had trying to finish the story to his own personal satisfaction. It's another level of conversation to say how he was going to make stories fit in with the Arwen and Aragorn bit, because he was in an echo chamber of Beren and Luthien when he was doing Aragorn and Arwen in the Third Age while he crafted The Lord of the Rings. Professor Tolkien was very deliberately and consciously constructing the parallel in the storyline of Aragorn and Arwen. And so when he had to go back and revise Beren and Luthien again, I'm sure it tripped a trigger in his brain that he was like, no, wait, I can't do it this way now. Now I've established all the stuff that's published for Aragorn and Arwen. Now when he went back to revisit Beren and Luthien, I'm quite certain, because I can see this happening, knowing how Tolkien's mind would work. I can totally, hey, Orange County, California, good to see you. I can just imagine Professor Tolkien being like, what am I going to do with the Beren and Luthien story, because now I have all these threads that are carried forward in the Third Age in The Lord of the Rings, and now I've got to make it match. So no wonder he never quite finished the way he wanted it to. I'm telling you guys, Alan Lee, imagine going up to the man saying, here, would you sign my book? You know, here's my new copy of Beren and Luthien, and you get to meet him. He's such a gentleman. He's such a sweetheart. Alan Lee, one of my favorite people that I've ever interviewed. And when we did all of our interviews for our documentary, Ringers, Lord of the Fans, and all the other interviews I've conducted over 18 years for thewondering.net, believe me, I've picked my favorite interviews, and Alan Lee and John Howe, those two artists, they're the most soft-spoken, intelligent, and, dare I say, sweet-natured artists. Humble, though brilliantly talented, Oscar winners, both of them. Where can you watch the documentary? As a side note, Ringers, Lord of the Fans was distributed by Sony Pictures for a 10-year period. They had it in between like 2006 and 2016. So you can get DVD copies on Amazon. It was available at the time. It was on iTunes Store. It's not there anymore because we're going to redistribute the film ourselves a little later. But if you want to check out the documentary, you can find Ringers, Lord of the Fans. You'll recognize Dominic Monaghan. He's on the cover. That's right. Dominic from Dom's Wild Things on BBC. Yes, Meriadoc himself. Merry, who would be the future master of Buckland. Friend to Pippin. You know, yes, Dominic Monaghan was our narrator in the documentary, and I wrote it and produced it with Carlene Cordova and a great team of people who worked on that film with me. So you guys, you're welcome to check it out. Ringers, Lord of the Fans is the documentary. But before I get sidetracked, I was trying to say that the Beren and Luthien book signing is like the big news in the Tolkien world. I'm telling you what, getting a chance to go and see Alan Lee is amazing if you're there in England. All of you folks who are there in England, okay? Go. Look up where those booksellers are hosting these amazing book signings for Alan Lee. You can check out Ringers, Lord of the Fans anytime because it was produced in association with thewondering.net, the website which is hosting our show right now. And I co-wrote it and produced it, and we explore Tolkien and the great fandom in response to The Lord of the Rings over like a 50-year period. It's really quite remarkable. I'm still proud of that little film. Now, onward and forward. Onward and forward. Since Ustream is not working, I'm just going to say, sorry, Ustream isn't working, and that's too darn bad. But I do have Skype. We're going to open up Skype. I'm going to remind everybody that phone number, there should be a phone number floating over my head. It's 530-64-FRODO. We have a hotline. So you can call the hotline. You can send me text messages here on the hotline. And you can, in fact, look, I'm getting messages on the hotline right now. Right now. It says right here. Thank heavens for Christopher Tolkien. What books would we not have if he didn't work on his father's stories? That's an excellent point. That is such an excellent point. We wouldn't have ever had the Silmarillion. We would never had these conversations about the first age of Middle-earth and the mythology behind Middle-earth, the gods and goddesses that are the Valar and the Maiar spirits from those wonderful early tales of Valinor. We wouldn't know any of that stuff if it weren't for Christopher Tolkien. Thank you for mentioning that. It's very, very, very true. Hello, Argentina. Hola, ¿cómo está? Mucho gusto. Good to see you, Argentina. All right. Hey, Spirited Book, it's nice to see you in the chat room. What are you saying? Call me a salty prick, but I won't lie, I'm bummed about it. What are you bummed about? What are you bummed about? Northrunner says, I think I'm going to watch Ringers again tonight after Torn Tuesday is over. Ah, Pete, the best. You're the most loyal audience in the world. What is it, Spirited Book? What are you bummed out about? Iceland. Hello, Iceland. Please give my love to Bjork. I love Bjork. She's my favorite artist. She is the goddess of all goddesses in the recording industry. I love Bjork. And I love Sigur Rós as well. I gotta say, it was Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan that introduced all of us to Sigur Rós by watching those behind-the-scenes clips on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Remember when Billy was taking Dominic on a trip through Amoeba Music, and at the record store, they had this little conversation about Sigur Rós. Yeah, and I love Iceland. I love Icelandic. Icelandic music is some of my favorite stuff in the world. I gotta say, I love it. I'm telling you. Wow, look at all these texts I got on the hotline. 530, number 6, number 4, FRODO. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Spirited. Dude. I know, I only got to the chat when, I got to the chat. I was just talking to other people, but I didn't see them. I see you guys live now. We're hosting a live show. This is Torn Tuesday. You guys get to talk to me live on Ustream, Instagram. Facebook Live is going, although I don't see the names rotating. And if you want to be on Skype, we're going to open up Skype right over here. I'm going to open up this Skype window. See that window right there? See picture in picture? This little picture in picture right here, that's going to be our Skype. Skype is open. It is Barliman Butterbur. You want to find us on Skype? Come and talk with me. Share this picture with me. It's going to be a chance for you to talk to me at the same time. Hey, Aubrey, how you doing? Getting ringers and a copy for my Tolkien fan mother-in-law, so thanks. Got her a Mother's Day gift. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome, guys. I do appreciate that. You know what? The movie is in standard def, so don't be tripping balls on me. I'm sorry. We did not shoot the film in high def. But, it's a DVD. Ultimately, we're going to up-res the film, and we have plans to repackage it and re-release the whole film and have a whole relaunch coming soon. I'll tell you more about that when you're here with us. But Skype is open if you want to Skype with me. See that? See that window? Skype with me. The One Ring Net. TheOneRingNet. The One Ring Net. I'm on. Skype is open. I'm available. We are doing Ask a Tolkien Geek. So this is sort of like a Reddit AMA. But it's not really an AMA. Live Torn Tuesday. Boom. Boom. There it is. There you go. We're doing a live show. We're doing a live show. I hope that you guys want to come and Skype with me. Skype is on. And I'd be glad because you get to appear right in that little window right here with me. Come and talk to me. Who's texting me on the hotline? Hello from New Hampshire. Hello, New Hampshire. So great to have you. Your contributions to the Tolkien world are much appreciated. Namaste. Namaste. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Come, talk to me. Spirited Book. Call me. Strider-like dude. You quite like Strider, but not exactly Strider. But yeah. You all talk to me. Thank you very much for the messages. Have I ever met Christopher Tolkien? No, I have not. And I'm telling you, that would be the awesomest. That shit right there, that would be so awesome. To have Christopher Tolkien sit and have polite, intelligent conversation about his father's legacy. Wow. I'm so down for that. I'm so down. Okay. Hey, Skype is on. See? There it is. Skype is on. You guys want to Skype me? Talk to me. Talk to me. Spirited Book. Iravandi. Hannah, anybody want to Skype with me? Ask me anything. The show is Ask Me Anything. And since nobody's asking me anything, I'm going to take a minute to take a look at the hotline. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm getting more messages on the hotline. Hey, from Vancouver. Wow. Messages from New Hampshire and Vancouver all the way across. I love Canada, by the way. Every time I've gone to Canada, the people have been so nice to me. Oh, my guys. You guys elected Justin Trudeau. You guys are so nice. The Canadians are just so damn bloody nice. Except for the Quebecois, who are always bitching at me bitching about my bad French. Well, guess what? Parlez-vous français? J'ai étudié le français 12 ans à l'école. Malheureusement, j'ai parlé un très peu français. So at least I can walk through a menu. At least I can try. No, I'm kidding about the Quebecois. They're beautiful too. They're very nice to me. Everybody in Canada is beautiful. I'm just teasing. I don't want to get lots of hate mail and hate tweets from people in Quebec because my French is terrible. Thank you. But anyways, you guys are awesome. Hey, have I had an ale at the Eagle and Child? Yes, I have. Jane Spenner? Janessa Spenner. Janessa Penner. Hey, Janessa Penner, I think I read your name wrong. Yeah, I've been to the Eagle and Child, what the locals call the Bird and Baby. Yes, I've been there. It's really awesome. And, I tell you what, it's a really fun place to have a drink. It's true. Hello from Vancouver. If you could pick any actress to play Luthien, who would you pick? Okay, that's the main question. Before I got distracted by talking about how bad my French is, my number one actress to play Luthien at this point, I'd have to go to the drawing board and think about that for a minute. Maybe someone we don't know. Maybe, how about an unknown? That might be kind of cool. Yeah, dude, maybe an unknown actress, someone with so much talent, someone with a unique, very unique presence that we've never seen before. You know what I mean? That might be really cool. Other than that, suitable elf-like actress who might be good to play Luthien. How about, how do you pronounce her name? Let me think about this. I have one possible idea, but I want to make sure I don't butcher and pronounce her name incorrect. Maybe Chloe Grace Moretz. Maybe possibilities, because she has such a striking, unusual symmetry in her face. Her face is very striking. I think her symmetry is quite interesting. Yeah, maybe Chloe Grace Moretz as Luthien. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, Saoirse Ronan? Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. Emilia Clarke is an idea. Maybe Emilia Clarke, but I think Emilia Clarke might be a little bit too familiar. It's impossible to look at Emilia Clarke in some kind of a fantasy, tableau and not think of her as, Khaleesi, as the Targaryen, as the mother of dragons, as, it's just, I don't know. There's a greater idea, I think, in casting Luthien as an unknown actress who doesn't have that burden of association. I'm just saying. But there you go. Yeah, I kind of I like this conversation where this is going. Let me think about this. Okay. Hello, Pipske. How you doing? How you doing there, Pipske? It's so good to have you on the show, Pipske. I love you. I was privileged to have met Alan Lee many years ago, the very talented illustrator Alan Lee, who has illustrated this new edition of Baron and Luthien that's coming out. Yeah, he's doing that book tour across the UK. You people are going to be so lucky to meet him and have him doodle and draw sketches in your book. I'm so envious. I might have to fly all the way across the world to go from LA to England just to be there for that Alan Lee thing. That would be really, really awesome. All right, it looks like Spirited Book is about to talk with us. But let's see. Hey, Spirited Book, how are you, buddy? Nice to have you on the...
Hey!
Nice to have you here. But what do you say here, Pipske? You met Alan Lee many years ago in Austin, Texas, when he was doing Lord of the Rings drawing for a book signing. He was very nice and wanted to chat for a good long while. Never will forget how amazing and soft-spoken he was. That is true. If you've ever met Alan Lee, he is the quietest, quiet little mouse. It's like talking to a church mouse. He's so soft-spoken. I love Alan Lee. He's a genius as far as artists go. I gotta say, yeah, he's really awesome. Thank you, Pipske. That's a lovely memory. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. And who do you think might be castable as Luthien? What do you think, Spirited Book? Since we were just asked that question a minute ago.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Luthien, hang on one second.
Well, I had said maybe the best strength of an argument would be cast an unknown.
Yes.
An actress that doesn't have a burden like Emilia Clarke does, being in Westeros and also in Esteros. For most of her career, everybody in the fantasy nugget thinks of her as, you know, the mother of dragons. We can't peel her away from a Song of Ice and Fire. So, if you want to cast Luthien, you might get a greater benefit by bringing in an unknown. What do you think of that?
I mean, bring up unknowns. Like, we haven't, like, I guess...
Look,
Yeah, no, I see it work.
every actor and actress was an unknown at some point in time. You know?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, yeah, of like the new Star Wars movies, like Daisy Ridley. You know, she hasn't been in a huge franchise film, and
Yep.
she's in Star Wars, and it's like,
Yes.
bam. So maybe we have someone
Yeah.
unknown more.
That's
would look
right.
Better.
There's the Daisy Ridley effect. She was a very fresh face, a very fresh talent, and we were able to experience her character completely new without it being caught up with some other franchise. Yes. Good point. Great point. So, anyways, how you doing? What's up, man? Did you have a question for...
I can't hear a word because the stream has an ad playing, and I can't block the music.
Oh, the stream has music playing?
And it's almost over.
What song? What are you doing? My stream isn't playing any music. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, there we go.
You're hilarious.
The stream had an ad playing for like war or something. Well, some war.
I'm getting...
It's just like.
Okay, all right. I'll tell you what. I'm getting messages on the hotline saying cast Daisy Ridley as Luthien. Okay, there's an
I was
idea.
thinking that maybe.
The first person I thought of was go to, you know, Chloe Grace Moretz. You know, really, because I really like her, and I think she has such a unique, physical features and such a unique face. Danis Pecking says, just cast me. I'll be an elf. Dater Jonas says, maybe the girl who portrays Prim Everdeen in Hunger Games? That's an idea. There you go. How about that?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe. She was alright.
Maybe. You're like, what?
I wouldn't say she was bad.
Okay, so what's up? Somebody just sent me a huge load of text messages on the hotline. I can't read them all. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a lot of text messages. Thoughts about the positive reaction of Pirates 5 coming out from CinemaCon? I'm really glad to see positive buzz about Pirates 5. Pirates of the Caribbean is a treat for us to talk about here at theonering.net because our guys from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, Adam Brown, who played Ori. No, he didn't play Ori. Wait a minute, Adam Brown, he did play Ori, the scribe. Didn't he? Yes.
I'm looking it up.
That's right. Out of Dori, Nori, and Ori, that was Adam Brown. And who else? Who else from The Lord of the Rings is in Pirates of the Caribbean? Orlando Bloom. Yes, that's right.
Legolas.
But this time he's going to have barnacles all over his face. Like, it'll be Orlando Bloom all grossed out with barnacles. It'll be really great. It'll be totally like yucky, sponge face, barnacle face, Orlando Bloom. Yucky. You know, I'm kind of down for that. I think that's so cool. So I'm glad that we've got a good, positive response for Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Because, to be quite honest, Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides was a little bit of a yawn. It was a little bit of a ho-hum.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the way they realized the mermaids was interesting, but that was about it. I was far more interested in the first three. The first three Pirates movies are a lot stronger overall, with action scenes and with the overall stories. I don't know. Is Keira Knightley going to come back into Pirates 5? I don't know.
Who?
Haven't heard about that.
Who's that? Keira Knightley or something?
Here's a question. When the wizards were instructed to not face Sauron, power for power, remember that? There was a part where the Maiar spirits were delivered in the bodies of old messengers, old wizards, and they arrived on the shores of Middle-earth, and they were beckoned, or perhaps ordered by the powers of the Valar, to not match power for power with Sauron. Did that include Maiar spirits, is the question. Well, if so, then wasn't the Balrog a Maiar spirit, and Gandalf shouldn't have battled with him with the Ring of Fire? Interesting question. Um, but to clear up some confusion in the way you phrased that question, um, that did include Maiar spirits, and the wizards themselves were the embodiment of actual Maiar. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got that. Get back your Silmarillion pages, boys and girls, and get down to your lore. Question about hardcore lore here. And it's not really that hardcore. I mean, we're Tolkien geeks. We know what we're talking about. If so, then wasn't the Balrog a Maiar spirit, and Gandalf should not have battled with him? Okay, to get into the metaphysics of that question, and we've had that question many times before on the OneRing.net, Gandalf had to make a sacrifice. And he knew that part of the success of the Fellowship going on would only be because a sacrifice had to be made to match the power of the Balrog, and that's how he faced that situation, okay? And he knew that self-sacrifice was on the table. Do you know why? Because Gandalf had a foresight. He did. He had a foresight. He knew it was coming. People, he told Gimli, no, Gimli, I would not go that way unless I had no other choice. You know, I'm telling you, he had no choice. Because if he had, then that would have been the end of the quest. It would have been the end of the Fellowship of the Ring. Gandalf did have to match him, power for power, and yet it was not... The phrase being ordered to not go up against Sauron meant that the wizards were not supposed to go and amass armies and go up to assault Sauron and take him down and, you know, use the powers of their Maiar spirit to amass their own power. And in fact, they were not supposed to form themselves into powers against Sauron. You get that as a concept. You get that as a larger concept? Spirited book. You understand what I'm saying? But
yeah, no, I totally
in
get
this
it.
isolated,
you don't
in this,
go up against...
in the isolated part of self-defense on the bridge of Khazad-dûm, that is not the situation that the Valar were talking about, where the Maiar, as wizards, were ordered to not show power for power against Sauron. You get it? That was totally a different thing. So
Balrog struck first. Gandalf, self-defense.
hardcore,
Exactly.
hardcore. Gandalf standing his ground on the bridge of Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, you shall not pass.
He was
you know?
casting a
It's like,
spell. Do you know
yeah.
when Ian McKellen was working out that dialogue, he looked at the script and he realized, wait a minute, this is not just dialogue. I'm telling him you shall not pass. He said all of the dialogue leading up to that is Gandalf casting a spell and making something an edict in the power of his words, and that became part of his spellcraft to break the bridge. And breaking the bridge was the goal. It's fascinating. So anyways, did you have another question, Spirited Book? Are we going to let another Skype caller eventually come in on the Skype?
I had one question from a while back that we never got to answer, unfortunately, because
Bring it.
it was like it was at the end of the show. But if we're directing a Silmarillion movie, perhaps, what kind of director would we want? Someone from, say, like, maybe not Peter Jackson, but like someone who's maybe done more, I guess, shall we say, biblical-like films?
I want Andrew Adamson. Okay, he directed Shrek. He directed The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and even better film, he directed The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, which is a better film. And I love Andrew Adamson. He's worked in New Zealand with all the crew. Shane Rangi, who was one of our stunties from The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and he played many orcs in Uruk-hai. Shane Rangi ended up leaving working Lord of the Rings crew and working Narnia. And all the designs of the armor and the weapons came from Weta, Richard Taylor and his team. So if you get... I love Andrew Adamson, and I think doing something bigger and cosmic with the confidence that he showed doing Prince Caspian means that I think Andrew Adamson would be a really, really good choice as a possible director for the Silmarillion. And who else? Who else might be a good choice? Another Silmarillion possibility, you might hate me for saying this, but how about Aronofsky?
I don't know who that is. Hang on.
You don't know who? You don't know who? What? You don't?
Hang on.
You didn't see? You didn't see Requiem for a Dream? You didn't see Noah with
Oh no,
Russell
yeah, no,
Crowe?
okay, then for sure.
Oh, okay, dude. You know who
You say
Aronofsky is.
Noah, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I like him. I think he'd be really, really interesting. Okay, we're getting. Hi, Cliff. Hope you're having a good day today. I love your show. I love your show. 530-64-FRODO. Taking messages on the hotline. Let's see. Like, who else would be a good director? What do you think, Spirited Book?
Well, I was actually gonna. I didn't know that he was the director, but yeah, I was gonna mention the person who did Noah. I didn't know Aronofsky was the director for that, but I was thinking
Yeah,
maybe
totally.
the director of that film. Because he had an interesting take on that kind of classic story and kind of changed it a bit while also keeping to its roots. And I was like, oh, that's
Now,
pretty clever.
Darren Aronofsky was like in the Huffington Post in January 1st of this year, and he had released a complete list of all the books he read and all the movies and TV shows he saw. It was his annual media list. And I was so blown away by how erudite he is, the kinds of things that he's reading, the kinds of shows he's watching. Pretty cool, really cool. Darren Aronofsky is a super, super, super smart guy. I love Black Swan. I love The Fountain.
Oh, Black Swan. Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
really, I did. I love. Didn't you love Black Swan?
I...
What do you mean, no? What?
yeah, okay. No, I see why people like it. It just wasn't for me, I don't think.
It just wasn't for you? What do you mean it wasn't for you?
No. Well, you know.
Oh, well, you like Noah, though, right?
Noah was, like I said, it was an interesting take on it.
It
but
was like a Lord of the Rings take on the story of the Bible. The rock creatures were coming out. And now, imagine that the beginning parts of the Silmarillion are so biblical, and you're talking about all these creation stories, and Aronofsky has already very firmly put his feet in the ground, saying that he can combine big movie fantasy and powerful biblical epic and make it really interesting and dark. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
it gets
I totally
really
see
psychologically effed up. By the time that movie's over, it gets so psychologically dark and effed up. You're like, what? This isn't the Bible story I read when I was a kid. So it's really interesting that Darren Aronofsky has already shown he's got the chops to do precisely what the Silmarillion is in its opening segments. But then again, I don't think the Silmarillion should be a motion picture. I think it should be an anthology series on HBO to replace Song of Ice and Fire. When Game of Thrones is off the air, you're going to need something new. That's my opinion. All right. Thank you for that question.
I mean, just the note of it being a TV show. I don't watch TV anymore. A lot of people don't watch TV anymore. They go to Netflix, I guess. So, I don't know. I mean, even then, it's kind of like, I don't even have Netflix, and I don't really watch a lot of TV anymore. So it's kind of like, I feel like I'm more of a moviegoer, and I feel like the way that it's already been 6 movies, the Lord of the Rings series, to make it a TV show would be a bit odd and different, and maybe keeping to its roots of being giant theatrical, giant 7-movie series, I think is what we determined a while back, would be for the best in my opinion. But, you know, everyone has their own. Yeah.
You're so funny. You are so
What?
funny.
What?
An orc is a fictional creature. I'm getting text messages about orcs now, and I'm getting so distracted. Someone just texted me and said, do you think there's any salt to the theory that Tolkien came up with the word ORC, orc, to stand for the Oxford Rugby Club, based upon his general disdain for the types of meatheads that used to play in the Oxford Rugby Club? Wow, that's an interesting theory. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
That's really good, actually.
But it says here on Wikipedia that earlier references to creatures etymologically similar to orcs can be found in Anglo-Saxon sources, including Beowulf and 16th century Italian folk tales.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think
Yep.
Tolkien came up with the term orc
It
at
says
any point.
Tolkien's
Yeah.
earliest Elvish dictionaries include the entry ORK, monster, ogre, demon, orc, along together with Orquindi, ogress, orc. Right? He called them goblins mostly. In Old English, glossaries record the word orc corresponding with Latin orcus, deity of the underworld, and synonymous with ogre. So you get oak and ogre coming from those Latin roots. So there you go. In Latin, orcus is glossed as Old English orc. Given, yeah, see, 10th century, Orcus was the name for Pluto, the god of the infernal regions. Ah, interesting. Wow, so no. The answer is no. I don't think there's any salt to that theory. I just found that very fascinating. I'm doing a show here, and I'm getting distracted by my own research on the show. But I love the joke that if that was a private in joke, like an in joke for the Inklings, that Tolkien was calling orcs because they were big, brutish, violent thugs, like they played on the Oxford Rugby Club, that could have been something about his disdain, the professor's disdain for those athletic meatheads. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Are you going to say goodbye, Spirited Book? Because it's about time that somebody else came on the Skype. Right?
All right. See you
Hey,
around.
it's good to see you, by the way.
See you around. Bye.
Cheers, man. Bye. Good to see you laugh. I know you needed it, man. Good. Good. All right.
Yeah.
You guys, Skype is open. We can take Skype calls. We can take questions here. It's me, Clifford Broadway. Allow me to introduce myself. This is Clifford. And Janessa Penner says, I think they should make the Silmarillion as a 10-part series, like when they did the Band of Brothers in the Pacific. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, oh, Grendel? Hey, small town kid. There's an idea. Grendel equals orc? Yes, possibly from the underworld. Just want to say thank you and thanks for answering my questions. Like, I really do belong somewhere, and oh, yes. See, I just also want to say, this is someone texting me on the hotline. I also want to just say how much I appreciate these live shows. I know nobody in real life who loves Tolkien like I do, and Torrent live shows are like I really do belong somewhere, and I've met so many fantastic people through this website. Yes, thank you. We love you too. Thank you. Makes me feel like I've got an audience, and I love it. I love that. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you guys sending me messages like that. That's hilarious. How about that? Oh yeah, David Wenham. Thank you, Kyle, for telling me that David Wenham is also in Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Before we get sidetracked, it will be Orlando Bloom, David Wenham, and Adam Brown. So we're going to have a man, an elf, and a dwarf. Speak quickly! We're going to have a man, an elf, and a dwarf in Pirates of the Caribbean 5, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Because it will be Orlando Bloom, David Wenham, and Adam Brown, and they each played Legolas, Faramir, and Ori. So you get a man, an elf, and a dwarf. Isn't that beautiful? I love you too, Pixie Poet. You're awesome. And we're all very excited about that. We're going to get Peter Jackson's Ultimate Edition with BTS before we see the Silmarillion in theaters. That's quite true, I agree. But I think we might see the Silmarillion only after there's a change in the Tolkien not enterprises, not to be confused, but the estate, okay? Tolkien Enterprises is the business in California that already has the existing license to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Those two things. That's Tolkien Enterprises. Not to be confused with the estate, which is controlled and held by the living heirs. The Tolkien Trust includes the living heir of Tolkien himself, and that would be Christopher Tolkien. I would love to interview Christopher Tolkien, but I don't think we'll ever see the Silmarillion as a feature film series. I think we'll see it as perhaps a really, really good anthology TV series. But I would trust Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy's direction with any Tolkien property. Thoughts on that? Yes, that would be interesting to see Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy try to take over large feature film. However, the other voice in my head wants to agree with you on that, but the other part of my head tells me to not agree with that, because Kathleen Kennedy and their stewardship of certain franchises with Lucasfilm, they're not interested in taking risks that are dark, and really risky, the way the Silmarillion would end up. They're interested in making big, commercial, successful, mega franchises, and I do not know for sure that under the stewardship of Kathleen Kennedy as a lead producer, that the Silmarillion would fare exactly the way it would. You know what I mean? This is where the studio people come in and say, we need to make changes to the story to make it more commercially viable and to have a broader appeal. You know what I mean? So I don't know about that. I really, really, really don't know about that. I would say, yeah, they've got a great track record with making some of the biggest and most viable franchises that we've ever had in cinema history. Yes. Thank you. Yes. They do have that track record, but those are the kinds of producers, when you're at that level of Hollywood producers, Kathleen Kennedy and people like that are the ones who are going to be most guilty of changing the source material to make it more bright or more happy ending. Or, well, excuse the F out of me, but the Silmarillion does not have any happy endings. So I'd be very, very suspect about that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my one man's opinion. One man's opinion. Hey! Bizarre, small-town kid. David Cronenberg? Whoa! No way. There's no way David Cronenberg would ever take on something that has the scope of the Silmarillion. Cronenberg wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to do it. He would not want to do it. Look, I asked Terry Gilliam if he wanted to do a big, huge, multi-film fantasy franchise, and Terry Gilliam is the guy most likely to, with all the films he's done. Time Bandits, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, and The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, The Brothers Grimm, all these amazing things that Terry Gilliam has done in the fantasy world. But when I asked him face to his face at a big public audience Q&A, hi Kieran, welcome to the show, buddy. Turn your phone this way, or if you can, that way everybody at home will get full picture-in-picture. There you are, Kieran. Now, even Terry Gilliam said, I do not wish to have my name attached with some 3-film or 4-film franchise. So he wouldn't even want to walk into that. Yes, happy 10th anniversary, Lord of the Rings Online. Yeah, thanks, Small Town Kids. Thinking of Numenor, tragedy. Hello, Kieran. How are you, good sir? Good. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks. Thanks for having me again.
We are doing a live show every Tuesday for the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit fans. There you go.
Respect.
Yeah, respect on the sign. What's up, Mr. Kieran? We're doing Ask Me Anything. So, gonna ask a Tolkien geek anything. What do you want to ask?
Where would I start?
That is true, Eros Dorgan. The pressure put on you for that movie would be insane. Any director who's going to come in to be doing The Silmarillion, whether it happens to be in a TV format for HBO or a whole film series, anybody stepping into those shoes is going to have the worst time of it, just stepping into that. That's true. So what's your question, Mr. Kieran?
Do you think that they will ever make Lord of the Rings in 3D?
You mean the existing Lord of the Rings? And do a stereo conversion and re-release it in 3D?
Yeah.
That's possible.
That would be a possibility.
It's quite possible.
They did The Hobbit in 3D. And they
in high frame rate. Yeah. But let me ask you,
Yeah.
did you like the high frame rate? Did you even see it in Wales?
Yeah, I did. I actually saw it twice. 2 versions. I went to the cinema and watched the normal version, and then I went and watched it in 3D like 2 months after when it came out on 3D.
Yeah.
And
so you saw it in high frame rate and you saw it in regular version 3D, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. You can tell a difference, but it doesn't feel any different. It just feels like the same you would just watching it in a cinema, really. Just apart from it's just like you got glasses on.
You know
So,
what?
you know.
I think that Hannah Greenwood, a little friend of mine that I know down here in Southern California, I think she would make a great director for the Silmarillion. I'm getting the side eye from her. For the past 10 minutes, I think I've been getting a nasty side eye from Hannah. So that's hilarious. That's very funny. I just saw you in the chat. I'm watching her in the chat. All right, so yeah. Let me take your question and I will answer it one step further, Kieran. I don't think they're going to go back and do an aggressive stereoscopic stereo conversion of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. If they do that, they're going to up-res it and do a virtual reality conversion. They're going to convert that sometime where you could be in like a VR world, and they're going to do some other Lord of the Rings thing, and it would be VR instead of just 3D. I'm just saying. That's my opinion. My professional geek opinion, but I don't know. Hey.
Did you reckon that they would ever go back and add on to the movies like what they're planning on doing with The Hobbit in a couple of years' time? Like, you know how they I think they made more copies, but like it was more like high definition and like you were saying, like better equipment, like what the Hobbit used, their equipment, but go back and use that version.
Go back and use even newer equipment to do the stereo conversion even better for their 3D. They could. Mm-hmm. That could be very interesting. It's a very interesting speculation. You know what I will speculate on?
What?
That the 3D version of Lord of the Rings, if they do it, if they ever do that again, I don't think they're going to spend that kind of money on it because we know they didn't want to spend money on doing the ultimate collector's edition of all 6 films and go back and let Peter Jackson and his documentarian go back and do any of that behind-the-scenes stuff. So you know that Warner Brothers is not interested in spending money on doing that. You know, if they might be interested in doing more, since it involves an investment on the studio. I think what they're going to do is, and forgive me for losing my track of thought because I had it right here in the grasp of my brain. My eminent brain, which is losing my brain power, losing my brain synapses at every moment that passes by. And by the way, introduce yourself to the audience, Kieran. Say hi, everybody, and tell them where you're from.
Kieran Owen from Wales.
Talk louder, by the way.
Been a Middle-earth fan for good 10, 11 years now.
Good. All right. I think that instead of throwing down an expensive 3D stereo conversion of The Lord of the Rings, they're going to spend their money on a 4K up-res. And they're going to release The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit in 4K ultra-high definition. And here's why I think that. In 2017, January, this year, Warner Brothers announced that they're going to release all 8. That would be 7, 8. There were 7 Harry Potter books, but there were 8 Harry Potter films. And they released them all in 4K. But they didn't release them all at the same time. They've staggered the release. They've only released The Order of the Phoenix, The Half-Blood Prince, The Deathly Hallows Part 1 and The Deathly Hallows Part 2. So only those 4 movies have they released in ultra high def 4K. You see what I'm saying, buddy? Now,
I got you.
They're going to continue working on that. And that you have to keep in mind that when that was originally produced, it was shot on 35mm film. And Warner Brothers released it with 2K digital transfers, all in 2K. Now, if they're going to up-res it to 4K, that means they need to spend a lot of time working in their labs with the editing crew to get those older versions of the Harry Potter films boosted up to 4K. How much, now think about it, Kieran, how much more effort are they going to have to think about up-resing a movie that is 16 or 17 years old, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they have to up-res that to 4K, and because the marketplace is going to be demanding more 4K content, because everybody's buying these very cheap really reduced price 4K UHD home theater sets. And these things are amazing, what they're coming down in price for just a few $100s. So, hey, good to see you, Umrak. Good to see you, Oli Tsukiyama. I'll answer your question in a minute. So I don't think you're going to see 3D conversion of Lord of the Rings for theatrical release. You're going to see 4K up-res of all 6 films, but we'll see about that. We'll see about that. That's just my guess.
Did you notice with the extended edition to The Hobbit and the extended edition to The Lord of the Rings? With the extended edition to The Lord of the Rings, the extended edition was mainly parts we never expect to see in the movies, but they took bits from the book. But did you notice that with the extended edition on The Hobbit, it was mainly half the story that they missed out and then added onto the story. So like you'd wonder
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
How did Thorin get him to that horn and to that sheep and then you find out once the extended edition is coming that they had rams.
Yep.
So like they was hiding half the story. So what do you think of that compared to
do you know what?
The actual Lord of the Rings?
Everybody has that feeling, Kieran. 100%, dude. You nailed it. The Lord of the Rings extended material feels like proper extension of what was otherwise perfect filmmaking. The Hobbit extended scenes feel like, oh, shit, there's the essentials that should have been there in the first theatrical viewing of the film anyways. For example, there's Bilbo being invited by Elrond to not go on with the dwarves and actually stay. So that when Bilbo says to Boffer, after the rock giants have been throwing all the rocks around, he says, I'm getting out of here, I'm leaving. And Boffer says, oh, Bilbo, don't go. But if you have to go, I wish you all the luck in the world. You understand more of that psychology of why Bilbo would be leaving at that time, right?
Yes.
Because the extended scene that wasn't there, you know what I mean? And how about the extended scene of Gandalf having an extra 15 minutes attempting to rescue Thorin's father? His bloody father, Thrain. That was essential. And it's like, I'm telling you, guess what? There was a funeral. The Battle of the Five Armies had a funeral. It was essential. It should have been in the theatrical release. All that Hobbit extended stuff feels like the shit that should have been there in the first place. You're right. You are right.
Yes.
100%.
So why do you think?
100%.
Why do you think they do that? And where in Lord of the Rings, the extended edition was mainly stuff that was like for example, when they talk about Aragorn being in the battle with Theoden's father, and then you've got the extended edition, but no one knew about that apart from in the books. So they pretty much added on stuff from the book instead of just hiding half the story away.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that Beorn has a conversation with Gandalf for 5 minutes talking about, well, what's going on? Where's this threat? Where is this threat really coming from? And Gandalf says, well, my leader, Saruman, says we don't have to worry about that threat. And Beorn looks him in the face and says, what does Gandalf think? And Gandalf was like, oh, shit. And that is his psychological motivation for everything else he does in the rest of the whole movie. Desolation of Smaug is the movie that is most improved by having those extended scenes put back in. Seriously, I think you guys understand that. But anyways, it's a pretty interesting question. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you for that. We're going to let you go so that we can have even more Skype calls come in. I have a question that I need to get back to on Instagram. Instagram, you're about to lose your connection in 1 minute, but I want all of you viewers to come back. I will reconnect, and I will start the stream again. Okay? Kieran, I love you, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
I love you, man. It's good to see you, bud.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah, peace. I love you, man.
Life.
See ya. See ya. You're such a doofus. Kieran, I love that guy. He's hilarious. So funny. Okay. Justin nailed it when he kept talking about Beorn's dialogue and everything wrong with Desolation of Smaug, the famous Red episode in the Haunted Room of Meltdown Comics. Yeah, I remember that. That's funny. Hi, Jinsey. How you doing, Jinsey? It's so good to see Jinsey. All right, you've got 30 seconds left, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to read that question again you guys don't forget, the show is coming right back on. In 20 seconds, I will restart. And Oli Sukiyama says, can you help me understand Arda and EA? Is EA the entire Earth and Arda the Middle Earth, like the continent? I will answer your question in 6 seconds when we come back. Okay, my friend? You're going to lose the stream, but I'll bring it back. Promise. Okay, for all the other folks, we just had 500 viewers on Instagram. We're going to start it all over again. There we go. Start live. Welcome back. It's me, Clifford, your host, Clifford Broadway, here with the OneRing.net. Welcome back, everybody. It's 6:02. 6:02 in the evening. That means we've got another 28 minutes of our show. Shout out to your Instagram. Yeah, Spirited Book. If you want me to, I will shout out to your Instagram. Thank you, all the hearts. Give me more hearts. Give me more hearts. I want more Instagram hearts because, hey, we lost the stream, and there's a reason why Instagram does a 1 hour limit. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the show. We do a 90-minute broadcast. Thank you, Pixie Poet. Welcome back. Even though we do a 90-minute show, Instagram only keeps a lockdown for a 60-minute time limit. I apologize. Hey, Blue Larian, thank you for staying awake till 4 in the morning. Hey, Her Weirdness, where is Professor Tolkien buried? Thank you for all those hearts. I love those. Professor Tolkien and his wife, Edith Tolkien, are buried together in a shared plot, side by side, in Oxford, England. I've been there myself when we took our documentary cameras to London, and we went to interview the famed fantasy author Terry Pratchett, and we went to Salisbury. We drove all the way across England. We got footage at Stonehenge and at Birmingham and in Oxford, and I went and I had a proper pint at the Eagle and Child, which was fantastic. And I went to be where all the Inklings were and Professor Tolkien. We also visited the location of his home, where he lived and wrote The Lord of the Rings. And I also saw the cemetery where Professor Tolkien is buried. So, they're in Oxford. Yes, if you're going in 2 weeks, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And we have some quiet, very quiet, beautiful footage of Professor Tolkien's grave. And the mementos and the beautiful gifts that Lord of the Rings fans leave on the plants and the flowers that are growing there. It's really beautiful. It's lovely. So you'll enjoy it when you're there to visit. You should go and pay your respects to Professor Tolkien while you're there in Oxford. It's really beautiful there. Okay, now Oli, come back. Oli Sukiyama. Okay, Oli Sukiyama, you were asking a question about the difference between EA and Arda, all right? Put it this way. According to what I understand of the Silmarillion, EA is all of the cosmos, the creation. Is that right, Pete? Pete Northrunner? Tell me if I'm wrong. Arda is one planet. Presumably, there may or may not be other planets in this cosmos, but the EA is the cosmos itself, and Arda is just the like the universe, yes. And Arda is the single planet, the planet itself, which houses all of the oceans, the rivers, the mountains, the waters, the land, and the sea, and the forms. Originally, Arda also contained Valinor, the Undying Lands. After the War of Wrath, after other certain important historical events happened in the Silmarillion, Valinor was broken away from the physical world of Arda, excuse me, I said that wrong. Valinor was broken away. The Undying Lands were removed from the flat earth concept of Arda, and Arda was made round. You got to look all this stuff up. And EA you look up EA on Google, and the only thing you're going to get is Electronic Arts. So look up EA and look up Tolkien. There you go. And here's what it says on the Tolkien Gateway. It says right here, EA, pronounced EA, is the created world. It is the Quenya name for the universe, as a realization of the vision of the Ainur. Thus EA is the world that is, as distinguished from the timeless halls of Iluvatar and the Void, which have no material form. Got it? Yep. Google EA Tolkien Gateway. That's how you find that. So, and Arda was the planet, the singular planet, that was originally flat and then became round later on after key events in the Silmarillion, and that's all that story. Well, that's barely that story, but that's barely that story, but there's a lot of story going on there. Welcome to the Torn Tuesday show. It's really fantastic to have you guys with us. My name is Clifford Broadway. I'm a writer, I am a producer, I am a voiceover artist. I do voiceover here in Los Angeles. I am a Tolkien super geek. I'm an armchair scholar, not a real Tolkien scholar, but I'm an armchair scholar. I've published 2 books along with other writers of theonering.net. I've published books about Tolkien with collaborators. I have made a movie, a feature documentary film called Ringer's Lord of the Fans. So I've got some credentials, a little bit, to talk as a Tolkien geek. And this is our show. Ask me anything. Ask me anything about Tolkien. All right? Thank you. You guys are super, super awesome. The other idea about introducing people to the Hobbit films before they get to see the Lord of the Rings films is that you get to see Saruman as a good guy. It is very, very important for a newbie who has never read the Lord of the Rings and doesn't care about reading until later on, after they get to see how spectacular the movies are, then they get really interested and they pick up the book and start reading. But if you begin your journey, begin your cinematic journey into Middle-earth, you've never read the books yet, let's just presume you're going to watch the movies. Don't watch the Lord of the Rings first and then backtrack and watch The Hobbit. You should watch The Hobbit first because you get to see Saruman as a good guy. I'm telling you, I say this all the time, and I will say it again until I am blue in the face. Getting the chance to see Christopher Lee walk into the room and say, "Are you in need of assistance, my lady?" Yes. Yes, it's all about seeing Saruman as a good guy. I swear to you. Because then you understand the shift of power and the change in emotional tone very early in Fellowship of the Ring when Saruman becomes a villain. I'm telling you, it's really important. The Fellowship of the Ring does not have an operating villain from Sauron, okay? You've got Saruman. He's the operating villain in the Fellowship of the Ring, and you know that. Sauron does not become a real serious villain until the Return of the King. So you need to have Saruman, and that's why you need to have the Hobbit films first. For total noobs, talk to a newbie who's a beginner and say, I promise you, you got to work your way through the Hobbit films. You got to get through all this stuff before you get to the good stuff. And they will appreciate you for that. They will appreciate you for that. If you guys want to Skype, come in and talk to me on Skype. We're live on Skype. You can be right here talking to me in this picture-in-picture. See it right here? Yeah. If you want to talk with me on Skype, Skype is open. The One Ring Net. Come and talk with me. Tell me what's on your mind. Ask me anything. Ask a Tolkien geek what it's like to be a Tolkien geek and to live in Los Angeles surrounded by other professional geeks. Exactly. Yes. All right. Anyways, nobody wants to talk to me on Skype? You can find us as Barliman Butterbur as our nickname, but the account name is actually The One Ring Net. I also have a hotline. Oh, here you go. Questions from the hotline. How did you meet Justin? Ha! I met Justin originally when I was shooting footage for my feature documentary, ringers, Lord of the Fans. I met Justin originally when he was doing a lining up event for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And we were doing our lineup event for the Fellowship of the Ring, and of course, a year later, we did lining up. You know, we were sleeping on the sidewalk, in a tent, in a sleeping bag, yes, for the Two Towers. We were lining up together at these fan events, and that's where I first met Justin, who, regrettably, is not here for today's show. All right? Controversial question. When would remaking The Lord of the Rings be acceptable? 20 years from now? Sooner or later? That is an excellent question. Thank you for asking me that. And it might not be as controversial as you think. It's not about the length of time when someone will remake The Lord of the Rings. It's not about the length of time. It's about the technology. When virtual reality and AR, augmented reality, go to this next level that they're going to go to, then don't be surprised within the next 15 years. Don't wait 20. It's not going to be 20 or 30 years. I think within the next 15 years, you're going to see somebody approach The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings or both as a VR thing. Okay? That is an excellent question. Excellent question. Thank you for that. Yes. Yeah, I do. I do remember that dialogue where Gandalf appears in the Two Towers. Remember when Gandalf the White appears and he says, "I am Saruman," or Saruman as he should have been. Yeah, call me on Skype, folks. Try it again. Try it again. Call me on Skype. I want your Skype calls. I want them. I want your Skype calls. Call me on the Skype. Promise me you're going to call me on Skype, folks. I mean, look, we've got the show going live. We've got 15 minutes. All right, well, anyways. I see you guys on Instagram are like really good at talking amongst yourselves. All right? I'm going to wait for you guys to Skype me. Did you ever get the feeling, a weird feeling about Éowyn and Grima's relationship? Like they may have possibly been romantically involved, if anyone gets what I mean? No, I've never gotten that. Oh, you can find me on Skype, The One Ring Net. TheOneRingNet. Our nickname is Barliman Butterbur. We're right here. It's happening, and it's live. We're live. I'm live. I can tell. I can see. Look at it. It looks like that. See? There it is, guys. Look at that. Barliman Butterbur, The One Ring Net. There is a weird thing between Grima, Wormtongue, and Éowyn, and that's probably because of their closeness to King Theoden. She was close to her uncle, as close as Grima was, and with both of them, side by side, at the throne, at the bedside, at the toilet. You can imagine both of them nursemaiding and trying to help such a frail King Theoden. Imagine that they might have had some intimate conversations and would have understood one another as individuals, but not as romantic. That would have been the place of entrapment for Wormtongue to have fallen in love with her, because Wormtongue would have been in close contact with Éowyn all the time. And he would have been exposed to sitting there talking with her, sharing a meal with her, breaking bread, talking with her while they were nursing King Theoden. And he would have been very familiar, maybe too familiar with her, but there's nothing in there indicating that she would have been comfortable with that. However, she was smart enough to say, "Your words are poison." That's right, Wormtongue, your words are poison. And I think that is one of the best acting moments that Miranda Otto has in the original trilogy, is when she's dealing with Grima, Wormtongue, right there. It's one of her best moments, dealing with him. And Brad Dourif is an incredible actor. He's absolutely an incredible actor. Who's next? Nobody wants to talk to me on Skype, or don't. If you don't talk to me on Skype, then we're just going to have a big white box here on the side of the screen for the whole show. Ha ha ha. Someone sent a message on the hotline. Just want to give praise to the BBC Radio, Lord of the Rings. It's really, that's some good stuff. It's a great adaptation. It's really, really, really good adaptation. I love that. Pipsky here. I love you, Pipsky. What a shame you can't see us, but loads of people in the Facebook chat too. Oh, I can't see the Facebook chat. I wish I could see the Facebook chat, but I can't. It's too bad. But there's a hotline, 530-64-FRODO. Number 6, number 4, F-R-O-D-O. What do you think about James Cameron creating 4 more Avatar movies? Can you see him directing something like The Silmarillion? Okay, my first reaction to James Cameron doing 4 more Avatar movies is I'm immediately bored. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. We'll see what happens, because Avatar for me was just like Dances with Wolves, but in space. That's what it was. So, and no, I would not want James Cameron coming anywhere near the Silmarillion, to be quite honest. That is not what I would think of at a first. No, I really would not. I would not think of that. Okay. Anybody? I'm going to look at Pete in the chat room on Ustream. He says Wormtongue was a freaking leech. I don't think that Eowyn would ever associate with him. Unless she were forced to. Just my opinion. Very good. That's right, Stephanie. Dances with Wolves in space. It's like Pigs in Space from the Muppet Show, but it's, it's Blue Navi dances with Navi in space, dances with wolves. It's a Kevin Costner movie, Dances with Wolves. It's the same damn thing. Okay, hello, Maya Galette. Do you know anything about collecting the books? I've collected quite a few of Tolkien's books. Yeah, I have the Complete History of Middle-earth series. I have the published letters of Tolkien. I've got the biography, which is the Humphrey Carpenter biography. I've got all these books. Lots and lots and lots of Tolkien books. And the Atlas. The Atlas of Middle-earth is one of the best supporting books you'll ever see. Yes.
Howdy.
Hey there. How's it going? Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, hi.
How you doing, darling? Are you on your phone?
Yes, I am.
Turn your phone sideways, and everybody at home will see you full landscape. There you are now. Picture in picture. Look at that. Now, everybody can actually see you in the picture with me. Welcome to Torn Tuesday.
Awesome.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sunny. I'm calling from Ohio in the United States.
Hey there, Ohio, the Buckeye State. Yummy. I love those little peanut butter chocolate Buckeyes that you make. Those are delicious.
Oh God, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, they're nuts, though. I could live on them, but God knows, every time I go through Ohio, I end up gaining 10 pounds just by driving through the state. I love Ohio. It's great. What's going on? What's your question for Ask a Tolkien Geek Anything?
Well, I was listening to some of the discussion on the Silmarillion and Avatar, and this is kind of a personal opinion. I'd really like to see Silmarillion done kind of as almost an anime style, but with multiple directors and animators. So each
like
story...
the Animatrix.
Yes, exactly like
Yes!
the Animatrix. And I kind of wanted your
There's an
opinion on
idea.
that.
There's an idea. Keep going. I love it.
I mean, I haven't watched anime in a long time, so I'm really out of the loop on who the big animators and directors are, but I would really love to see the individual, like, character story arcs and family arcs, the Turin and the Children of Húrin could be done in one style.
Yeah.
And the story of Beren and Luthien could be done in a different style. And because the stories are so different, but you could still have this coherent collection, and I'd really like to see that done eventually.
I think that's a capital idea. I'm a huge anime fan, as well as being a Tolkien nerd. I end up talking about Miyazaki all the time. And every time I mention Miyazaki, my co-host rolls his eyes so loud it makes a rusty creaking sound when my co-host rolls his eyes. And so I'm the first person to talk about Miyazaki. New directors coming out left and right, some very, very popular directors who are doing some interesting things for TV series and for movies. we have been worried about Studio Ghibli going dark, but now we've been getting news recently that Hayao Miyazaki has come out of retirement to do another feature film. Whoa! Can I get an amen up in here? I'm raising my hands up to the ceiling. I love it.
Amen.
Yeah, amen, amen. I'm loving it. But as far as getting a whole bunch of different directors, I love that idea even better because I think the Silmarillion itself as a book is pure anthology, and to bring other visual approaches and other visual language and other technique of stories that all these other directors would bring to the table. You know, they would all bring different fresh perspectives as animators especially, and they would bring in a different creative team, each one of them. And I love that idea. I love it. I think it's a great idea. And it's not so far of a shot from let's do a live action anthology for Silmarillion with different directors, different people approaching it.
Right.
That might scare some people because they like everything to be such a consistent tone with Tolkien. And that's one of the psychological reasons that Peter Jackson felt compelled to step into the empty shoes when Guillermo del Toro had to leave the job doing The Hobbit directing. He realized that his base of fans wanted the Hobbit films to have the same tonal, and art-directed frame of mind that would be tonally consistent. And so he decided, I might as well step up and do it myself. And of course, there were mixed results, and the fans still debate that, but we got what we got. Your idea of doing a bunch of different anime directors, yes, release the hounds! Release the hounds! I'm all about that idea. I love that idea. That's great.
Awesome.
I dig it. All right. Any other bright ideas before we take our next caller? All right, you get one a day. You get one great idea a day.
Well, I've been holding on to that one. I've had that idea for years.
I think it's great. But, they're not going to do any Silmarillion anything at all. I want to remind everybody at home that they're not doing any Silmarillion anything, that we're just playfully speculating, right? Right. Okay. Got it. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for being on Torn Tuesday today. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Cheers. All right, come back soon. Very soon. Thank you. Cheers. All right, now, here's another person sending me another message on the hotline. What is your most prized Tolkien possession? My most prized Tolkien possession? I would say this. This is my most prized Tolkien possession. I happen to have it right here. This is something I get to close the show with. I totally get to close the show talking about this. The Lord of the Rings, usually called the Red Leather Edition, even though it's not red leather. This is a faux red leather edition. And you guys have seen me because I've read this book out loud during a live stream. I have not seen Kimi no Na wa. Pixie Poet, thank you for that recommendation. I'm going to check that out. But the reason why, and remember, this is the end of the show. We're going to close the show in 4 minutes because we're out of time. My most prized Tolkien possession is the one that has all of these autographs in here. This contains autographs of Peter Jackson and the entire cast and crew of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, including many people who were down the line, second, we call second tier or below the line people, including the art director, Sir Richard Taylor and Tanya Roger from Weta. I've got signatures of the entire cast, with the exception of 2 people, Sir Christopher Lee, who died before I could get him to sign this, and Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett is the only other person to have not signed this. Yes, I am blessed. There's Orlando Bloom, Dominic Monaghan, Elijah Wood, Brad Dourif, Miranda Otto, Carl Urban, David Wenham, and the producer, Barry Osborne. There's Andy Serkis, Sean Astin, Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan. Did I mention them already? Here's Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh. Here's Peter Jackson's autograph. Here's Viggo Mortensen, Orlando Bloom, John Rhys Davies. Down here where my fingers are, here's Gandalf. Here's Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen. Who else do we have here? We even have Isildur, who's played by Harry Sinclair. We've got, believe it or not, Isildur. I'm really lucky. I got Isildur. I have Salah Baker, who played Sauron. And we've got Shane Rangi. We've got, Sean Astin, Carl Urban. I got Bernard Hill. So I have everybody from Bruce Hopkins, Bernard Hill, Miranda Otto, Brad Dourif, Carl Urban. I got everybody from Rohan. I got all the Hobbits, everybody from the Fellowship. I got everybody. No, Richard Armitage did not sign this because Richard Armitage is not in the Lord of the Rings. Sorry to say. And what else do we have here? Yeah, lots and lots and lots of signatures. And who else do I have on here? Ooh, even Barry Osborne and Mark Ordesky, the producers. And, wow, the swordsmith, Peter Lyon. Peter Lyon, who came here on my own show. Yeah, Skype is open. If you guys want to Skype with me, you can Skype with me before the show's over. Look at that. And Andy Serkis. Yes, Gollum. So this is my most prized possession in the Tolkien universe, and I guess you can understand why. It is my eternal regret that I'd never got Sir Christopher Lee to autograph that for me. Too bad. At least I can get Cate Blanchett to autograph it for me, because she comes in here to Meltdown Comics quite often to buy comic books for her kids, and yeah, it's really awesome. Really, really awesome. Okay, last chance. Someone wants to come on Skype and close the show with me. It's TheonERING. That's right. Hello, I got a text on the hotline from Jean Bourgeois. Hello, love. I'd like to know what your favorite story from the Silmarillion is. My favorite story is the Akalabeth, the downfall of Numenor. That is my favorite shit. I'm all about Numenor. I'm all about the Atlantis mythology and the Atlantis connection between Numenor and our own modern 20th century or maybe 21st century mythology. I'm all about the Akalabeth. Really into the Numenor stuff because that shit gets real. Slavery, like Sauron worship, which is the equivalent of satanic worship. There was never Satan worship in Middle-earth until Numenor, when that shit went really dark, really bad, and they had Sauron worship. I'm telling you. And then Numenor totally destroyed. Major piece of the history. I'm so into that stuff from the Silmarillion. And also, to be honest, I really dig the story about Feanor and the taking of the Oath of Feanor, and all that stuff with the Silmarils. I'm all about that stuff with the Silmarils. I'm really about that. And the way that Morgoth, Melkor attacked the two trees of Valinor with Ungoliant. I'm all about that stuff. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I love Silmarillion. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I love me some Silmarillion. Hannah, my wonderful friend, Hannah Took, she's going to direct the Silmarillion someday. Maybe she'll do season 1, and then I'll get to direct season 2. That'd be such a great job to have, wouldn't it? So, all right, guys. I'm really glad. Oh, look at this. This is thank you. I listened to you. I listened to your live read, your entire reading of The Hobbit on XSN Network. You bring The Hobbit to life. My niece is now reading The Hobbit after hearing me and listening to you read The Hobbit. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, guys. That's the best way to close the show, is with that. Thank you. I love it. I want to say thank you to all the people watching on Facebook Live. My apologies because I could not see you. The Facebook chat screen was not activated. I'm really glad that Ustream was sort of working. I don't know. Was it sort of working? No, Ustream had some quality issues. But if you want to say goodnight, the best way to say goodnight, is with this acknowledgement. I'm really glad that the younglings and the children in your family are getting into reading. Get them into reading as early as they can. I swear to you, the world will be a better place if we could get our kids into reading Tolkien much earlier. Let them read The Hobbit. I love it. I will do another big live read of The Hobbit and maybe The Lord of the Rings as soon as I can, coming up this next Christmas. You guys are so cool. You're the awesome audience of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I forgot to mention this, so I might as well mention it. Before I close the show, any of you Jim Henson fans out there who love The Dark Crystal, well, here is the power of The Dark Crystal, the new comic books that are published every month from Archaea Books. And the reason why I mention them is because there was supposed to be a movie sequel. Yes, it's true. There was going to be a sequel for The Dark Crystal that they never made, and they put that movie into turnaround, and it's been in development hell forever. So as we close the show, I want to remind you guys that the movie The Dark Crystal, which is my favorite thing in the whole universe, was going to have a sequel, 30, 35 years later, and instead, because they didn't make the movie, and they put the project in turnaround, here is the unproduced screenplay. Yes, the unproduced screenplay of The Dark Crystal called The Power of the Dark Crystal. These brand new comic books, here they are. You guys check these out. They're absolutely gorgeous. The artwork is gorgeous. It includes a new species, not just a gelfling. There's more than just gelfling on this planet. There's the fireling. And the firelings come from a dominion underneath the earth, underneath the planet. Here's issue number 1, issue number 2. Be sure to go to your local comic book shop, like where I am right now, at Meltdown Comics. And thank you, Meltdown, for supporting us. Get your hands on The Power of the Dark Crystal, because it is so badass. It is so cool. It is the ultimate geek out thing for me, because I'm not just a Tolkien geek and an anime geek, but I'm a big Jim Henson Dark Crystal geek. I'm very happy to have these. So, very good things. Great stuff. Fear the power of the Dark Crystal. There you go, guys. One more Skeksis for you. I just did one more for the end of the show. Hey, Aravandi, I can see you there in the chat. If you do another big reading, try drinking pineapple juice. It's supposed to be great for your voice. Yes, I will. I will totally drink pineapple juice because I love pineapple juice. Love it. All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me on theonering.net, the world's biggest and best Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, and J.R.R. Tolkien fan website. There it is, my prized Lord of the Rings. Red leather edition. Autographed by the entire cast and crew, including Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, Oscar winners, Philippa Boyens. Oh, and did I mention Howard Shore? I got Howard Shore, Oscar winner Howard Shore. I got Howard Shore, the composer, to sign this too. The best. He's the best. He's one of the best people I've ever met in the world. So talented. I love him. He's great. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. If you want to find me on Instagram or on Twitter, it's the same thing. Follow me at QuickBeam2000. QUICKBEAM, as in beam of light or beam of wood. You remember QuickBeam. He was a friend of Treebeard. Remember? So you can find me QuickBeam2000 on Instagram and on Twitter. Follow me. I promise that I will not make your lives miserable. I tweet fun things, sometimes political things, but always fun. Great to have you guys on the show. A lot of love for all the fans around the world. Appreciate you being part of the OneRing.net. And now we say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night, adieu, adieu. to you and you and you. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah! Sending you out with a little Rodgers and Hammerstein. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Really awesome to have you on the show. I'll see you all next week. Bye.